Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about taxonomy, and you can replace the word with taxonomy with category, but the reason we call it taxonomy on Drupal is taxonomy is the term for something, and a category can be a taxonomy term, but so can brands, and so can a lot of things on your website that you might want to create for the products you have on there to better help user flow and user experience on your website. So when we're talking about your taxonomy, you're going to find that first of all under structure. So again, you must be logged into your website to be able to work on your taxonomy. And in the structure bar, you're going to see taxonomy, which looks identical to taxonomy manager. So make sure that you are on Taxonomy Manager when we're talking about this. And the reason I say this, this is how you'll know. If you're in Taxonomy and you're in category, for example, it's going to look like this. Everything's going to be blown out. And this is a little bit easier to work with if you're adjusting parent and children, right? So ATV, and under ATV is the secondary taxonomy terms, category terms. If you wanted to move these up, or if you wanted to put ATV under, you can drag and drop under taxonomy. The problem is that as your site grows and your taxonomy grows, right, you may have pages and pages of taxonomy, so it's really difficult to want to be moving something from page 4 to page 1. Well, it's not just difficult, it's impossible, right? So then we're going to work with Taxonomy Manager. So to get to Taxonomy Manager, again, Structure, Taxonomy Manager, and it's going to show you all your taxonomies. So let's go into category for this particular example. And yours may not have these on here, so don't worry about it. You're definitely going to have brand, and you're definitely going to have category, right? These other taxonomies can be created by you on your own to really do some special things with your website, and we can get into that in depth either on the phone or a little bit later in another tutorial. But right now I'm going to work with you on your category taxonomy. So you just click category, and this is the page you're going to see. So you're going to know you're in Taxonomy Manager because it's going to say it here and it's going to say it here. You're going to know you're in category because it's going to say it. You're going to see the toolbar, up, down, add, delete, move, export, double tree. This is just going to make this tree show up on the other side as well. It's also going to have your search, and you can go in here and switch your vocabulary if you want to not be in this and you want to be in brand. We can just click that, and now you're in the brand taxonomy. So I'm going to, though, work in your categories. All right, so this is a nice clean little page here. All of this is exactly how your site's going to flow. Right now, this is set up alphabetically, and we can again move it. We're not going to go over that right now, but this is alphabetical. And anytime you see, and these are all primaries, right? So all of these here are primary categories. When you see a little plus next to a primary category, that means, hey, I've got children in me, right? Some kind of subcategory. And so, we have more. So under winch accessories, we have more. And under winch fair lead, we have more. This is exactly how the front end of your website is going to flow for someone. So if someone comes to your website and they click winch and recovery, the first thing they're going to go down is see the secondaries, and then if they go into winch accessories, they're going to see the tertiaries. So this is a really neat way for you to organize all of this. Now, because it doesn't already show blown out, sometimes you may not know where to find, or if you have a certain category, and for that you're going to want to hit up here and go search. So if you're bringing on, for example, you're going to bring on a line that wasn't already loaded to your website when you got it, and they have new categories that you didn't currently have. Well, you want to make sure that you don't have something, for example, maybe you have a trail gear file or a rugged file, and their taxonomy is similar, but maybe they go bumpers and you go bumper on yours. If you just import and say create the term, you may end up with two different categories, one for bumper and one for bumpers. So you want to go in and see if you have it there. Just click the search button. And again, anytime you see this little thing here, this is an autocomplete. So your site is asking you to start telling it something. And whatever you start typing in, it's going to start to try and fill that in for you. So if I want to say, do I have something in suspension, right? All right, these are the ones that have suspension in it. Okay, I'd like to see what all's in suspension. So you just click on that and click search, and it's going to tell you right where it is. Now you can go in and see everything you have under suspension, right? So it's a little bit easier for you to figure it out. Now, what you saw also happen is this came up, and it didn't come up before. This is a very important part of your website. This is the only way a part knows what it is. Your website is not artificial intelligence. If you put a bumper in and it says bumper in the words and there's a picture of a bumper, that doesn't mean anything to your website. You have to say you are a bumper, right? So every part must be assigned somewhere over here or multiple places over there. Sometimes you're going through your website and you're like, that's not really a good enough description of that category. I think I'm going to change it from saying suspension to saying something else. Or I think I'm going to change it from saying cross member to something else. Here's the issue when you do that. If you have children, if you have parts, right, that are already, you might have 700 parts that are in cross member. If you delete that term, which you can just click this little button and go up here and you can delete that term. What's going to happen on the front end of your website is all of a sudden in your category tree you're going to start seeing numbers with parentheses and a number in there. So you'll see like 683, parentheses 14, 792. Those numbers are because every one of these categories, these taxonomy terms, actually had, and you can see that, well, if you'll look at the very bottom down in this screen in a second, if I mouse over, you're going to see it has a URL, right? And it was given a term, and that term underneath that is 223. So if I deleted this and there was parts under there, you're not going to get to the parts again. You're just going to make a big old mess. You're going to need to call me, and I'm going to yell at you a little bit because I told you not to do that. But what you can do is you can change what it says. So you can repurpose this and go, I want to call this cross members, right? So you can change this, and the parts that are in that category, they don't care what it's called. They just care that it didn't go away, right? So you can make any changes you want. And like on everything, unless you hit save changes, nothing's going to happen, right? But this is a critical part of your website. Make sure that you give it proper names. Don't do the, non-professional capitalization. Try it and keep it clear and concise. This is also a really great way for you to optimize for some better traffic. So we currently have, for example, under bumpers, we have front bumpers and rear bumpers. Okay, so we also have winch bumpers. So I'm going to say, let's move this, right? Because I think it should be under winch bumpers. And so, and this I had done because I was trying to show someone. So we could say, I want front winch bumpers to go underneath winch bumpers. you have to click the little box, and then I'm going to hit move, right? And it's again going to ask me, where do you want to move me? And I'm going to type in winch. I didn't have to do the whole thing. And I'm going to find, where does it say? Front winch? No, winch bumpers. So I'm going to find that, and I'm going to click it. I'm going to tell it to move. Now watch, because this was under bumpers a second ago. I'm just going to say move. And now under bumpers, there is no little plus sign because I moved them. But now under winch bumpers, now I have the front winch bumper. Oh, I had clicked both of those, and so now I pulled those under as well. Now, if you are adding something, for example, lighting, right? You have LED lights on your website. Under exterior, you have LED light bars. So you may want to add an entire list under that. So you can go ahead and come up here and say add, and you can add tons of terms at the same time. And it does give you an overall down here. So if you are adding a complete new taxonomy that's not currently on there, you can put, as an example, you can type animals, and then these little tiny dashes here mean I'm a subcategory of the main animal. 2 of them means I'm a tertiary category of canine, right? Or a tertiary category of feline for examples on this. But I could put in 50 LED light bars, 20, well, let's make this proper, inch LED light bars. And why would I be doing this? Because people are looking for that. And your taxonomy on Drupal is a really great way to optimize instead of having to go into all your thousands of parts and try to optimize a product. If your website's not telling the search engines that you have something and it's not telling it in a certain way, other people are. And so they'll get that search traffic and you won't. But for example, let me go ahead and just add those two. So I could add a bunch of them, right? And they're going to show up when you save this. They're going to show up again. If you lose them, right? If you lose, when I know I put those in there, just click your search button, right? And just start to type in. It's going to try and autofill that in. You're going to hit search, and it's going to highlight for you where it's at, right? So these are not where they belong. So let's move them again. All right, let's move them to LED light bars. We're going to move them. And now they're under LED light bars. So what's happening though is we created a term, but none of the parts, we don't have any parts that have been assigned to that term. So either you're going to have to export out and assign these parts to them, right? Because again, you just made these and you have a bunch of LED light bars already in your site. So what we're going to do there is go back to your store, drop down to your products and all your product variations. And I've got most of them set up. If your site does not have the brand filter and the category filter, let me know. It takes me about 2 seconds to set that up for you. So you can say, you can tell it I want to go through by brand, right? Because you probably have thousands of parts. Or you can say I want to go through by category. So let's go down and say, God, look at all the beautiful categories we have. All right, where are you? Where are you? Light bars. I'm going to tell it to filter and show me just lifetime products that are in LED light bars. And all right, so I have less than 50. And unfortunately, you're just going to have to start going through here and click and edit. This is a 20-inch light bar. I'm going to click edit on this, and I'm going to assign it to its new taxonomy term. Be a little bit easier if we were working as a export, doing them all and then bringing them back in. But all you have to do is click that, right? Hit save, and now your products are saved into their taxonomy term. All right. So again, let's go back over to Taxonomy Manager. If you are adding a product or a line that is not currently there and you're doing it by hand, you're going to have to come in here to the brands and you're going to have to tell it to add a new brand, right? Otherwise, it doesn't exist, right? Now, if you're loading by a full import, then that's a field on your sheet, and you can tell the system to go ahead and load and create at the same time. Anyway, this is a really cool thing. I work in Taxonomy Manager a lot, and so if you have any questions about this, let me know. But again, this is a great way for you to take your site and make it really user-friendly for your folks, right? Ideally, I think that a website when you first come on shouldn't have more than 14 categories on the home page, but you can do whatever you'd like to with your categories, right? You can change all the names of them. You can go ahead and delete, but you're going to have a real big mess on your hands up on front. But yeah, so there you go. I hope that explains taxonomy. I hope I didn't talk too fast. I try and slow down, you guys. Call me if you have any questions. All right, thanks.